Hello, Child Life friends. Well, it has been a minute since I have made a video for y'all, and I've been so busy with life. I'm working as a substitute teacher, and that takes up a lot of my time, of course, every day. And also in the throes of job applying, and it's been insane, and in a great way possible. So after my internship, I moved back to Texas, and I kind of got away from the whole interview application process again. And it was the end of April, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and start applying for some real child life positions and all that stuff, and kind of got back in the throes of job applying and how similar it is to applying for internships and practicums. So I thought I'd share a few tips about phone interviews. That is usually the initial contact with a prospective place. They usually will do a phone interview. Some places do a full-blown in-person interview, but I've found for more of the professional side, they do phone first before an in-person interview. So there's lots of different ways to get ready for a phone interview. One of the best things about phone interviews is you don't have to dress up in a suit. So I wore super comfy clothes this morning, and also another tip is to use the headset with the phone speaker thing. There's probably a better word for that, but I don't know it. Just so you don't have to hold your phone to your ear the whole, interview long. You can stand up, sit down, talk with your hands, all that sort of thing with the headset. So that's something to think about if you have one coming up, or you'll probably encounter more in the future if you're on the child life track. So also think about what you're going to have in front of you. One of the things I always recommend having in front of you is your resume, just to keep a record fresh on your mind about everything that you've done. You can easily talk about it, reference it. Sometimes we get so bogged down with other stuff that's on our brain, like theories and experiences and things we've done, that sometimes the basic stuff just kind of gets forgotten. So I keep my resume in front of me. I also keep a list of my goals in front of me as well. My mission statement, my personal mission statement, and just like certification information or whatever. Another must-have that I have is this little it says Happy Day. It was basically free at Target because it wasn't barcoded. And they basically like, well, what would you pay for it? And I was like 25 cents. They're like, okay, here you go, which is great. But I keep all of my questions in here. So any questions or comments that they make during the interview, I'll write down. So I have all kinds of questions in one color ink, and then I'll put the answer in another color. And it's just a nice little thing that's easy to hold and, is pretty. And I like pretty notebooks. As you've watched my videos, I talk about pretty notebooks all the time. But any questions I have for the interviewer after their questions are answered by me, I like to ask many questions, not terrible amounts, but some history about the hospital, like little things, things about the child life department, questions I might have about the actual job or internship or practicum. Those are the kind of things I want to ask and know more about. And you should have questions. You shouldn't be like, no, don't have any questions at all, because that would not be too good. Does it show that you're interested? Dog walked in. Anyway, but phone interviews are good. There's lots of benefits, and then there's some not so great benefits of phone interviews. You have to sell yourself or sell your personality through a telephone, which is hard. It's hard. So I was reading a blog, and they said, well, just smile during your interview. That will help. sometimes talking with your hands, because I'm somebody who loves to talk with her hands, helped me get through what I wanted to say. And that's where that headset came in, because I could talk and not have to worry about knocking the phone out of my hand or something. But and always be somewhere where you can have some peace and quiet. So I still live at home with my parents, and I'm like, look, at this certain time, no dog barking, no loud music, no loud TV, nothing like that. From this time to this time. And it's never been a problem. But I've had some unusual interview experiences, phone interview location experiences, which all happened during my internship. And I honestly don't know how I got through them, but I did. And they were actually some of my best interviews. I don't know how that happened, but it did. I had an interview, a phone interview that was pre-scheduled. It was like at this certain time at 1:30 on a Tuesday. Like, okay, that's great. Nothing happens at 1:30 on a Tuesday. Well, ended up that I had to go to a funeral that morning, and we had gone to the cemetery and come back, and I let my mom off, and I said, and parked the car, went in, grabbed some lunch. It was about 1 o'clock. I was like, look, I'm going to step outside to my car and take this interview and whatever. And it was actually an interview where I advanced to the next stage, but it was the hardest interview. Partly because of the questions, partly because it was just, the kind of day it was. So I did that interview in the church parking lot at a funeral meal. I've also, unfortunately, I was supposed to have a Skype interview one morning at 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock their time. Well, at 4 a.m. that morning, there was a tornado, literally. So I was like hiding downstairs in the bathroom, tornado outside. I'm like, great, I have an interview in like so many hours. Our power went out, of course. And came back upstairs, got ready, because I figured, well, maybe it'll come back on. I have to do it on Skype. There's nothing I can do. Power still wouldn't come back on, and so I had to. They called me actually because I couldn't get through, and they said, well, they couldn't get through either because their Skype wasn't working. And I was like, well, I had a tornado this morning, so it's still not working. So I still got all dressed up, and then I just did it over the phone. But there's all kinds of phone interview experiences. But I have to say, it's just another step in the process, and it's just another step in your child life journey. So embrace it while you can. I have my own way of coping, and everyone has their own way of coping. Before a phone interview and after a phone interview. Before a phone interview, I like to look at some of my favorite videos on YouTube. Just favorite stuff. Just anything, whatever it is. Funny, Southern, whatever it is. And I also love to listen to choral music because I'm a choral musician and a professional soprano. So I love to listen to music, classical music beforehand. I did even something new this morning because I was just like, I just freaked because it was so great, and all that stuff. I started singing vocal exercises before my interview, which actually worked wonders because I was able to get that stress and that negative energy and reroute it into my singing. So that was actually a great thing. So probably something I'll do in the future, but in-person interviews, you can't do that. So only phone. Other than that, I just, keep notes down, take notes, ask some great questions. For a list of great questions, you can go on Pinterest and there's things you can adapt to make it child life friendly or whatever. But, yeah, best of luck with all of those interviews and don't give up. There will be a day when your dream will come true. I promise it will. Okay. If you have any questions, by the way, comment down below and I will get back to them. You might have to email me. And I'll link my email as well because I'm everywhere all at once. But best of luck to y'all and keep on keeping on.